Ah, we're back.
Nick,
Success.
what happened last?
God damn it.
So Nick, what happened last night?
Something incredible, something magical took place.
Something profound.
Last night, only about an hour and a half after you left, Benji was born. Oh, that's a caustic smell.
Nicholas, it's so beautiful.
She's one of a kind.
A bouncing baby boy. No one's
A
ever
bouncing
printed this
baby
before.
boat.
So this is Benji the tugboat, and one of the purposes of this model in 3D printing is that it's used for benchmarking your 3D printer. So you print it, and then you're able to measure it and make sure that your printer is printing true to life. However, I just kind of scrunched this thing into the build field without any regard to how big it should be. So this is completely worthless as a benchmarking tool. We have to wipe up the dribbles of our new child.
This weird amniotic flotsam. What do you think about the hollow nature of the model?
So something that is definitely interesting to think about is that because parts of this, instead of being printed solid, we printed it hollow, that means there's going to be uncured resin trapped inside of the little chambers inside of him forever. So if we were to cut this in half, which I have a feeling that we're going to, it should be filled with goo.
Ah, Benji, don't
Delicious,
listen.
Fruity goo.
Don't listen. Let's talk about the resolution.
A wonderfully, fruitfully high-resolution print has occurred.
Yeah, it shows really a lot of fidelity that you can make out text on certain sides.
So far, it looks great to me.
Is it time to scrape
Possibly good
him?
enough to eat.
Oh goodness! What if this was a confectionery printer?
Ooh, they need to make edible resin.
Unfortunately, I don't think we have a camera angle of this. Now we're just fucking around.
I don't need witnesses to my chicanery. What does chicanery mean, Nick? So we have two things that we need to do now. One, we have to assume that we're not going to die from resin inhalation. I'm pretty sure we're supposed to be wearing respirators. Number two is we need to get Benji off of here, and then we're going to rinse him off, get all this excess resin off of him, and we're going to give him a final cure pass of maybe 3 to 5 minutes.
And then we break his scaffold off.
And then we're going to break off his little bits. Time to glove up, boy. Oh! I'm such an athlete.
I was trying to strike you with them.
I'm an athlete of absolute purity. That is to say, I have no experience or skill. Here's what we have. We have 91% isopropyl alcohol. We introduced this in an earlier video. Nick, do you want to look at the alcohol?
That's pretty good alcohol.
Do we have to blur out the generic Walmart brand?
I see now why you would want to reuse the alcohol.
Yeah. So the idea is that this isopropyl alcohol should readily dissolve any uncured resin. So I'm going to scrape him off of here. I'm going to put him in here. I'm going to kind of jingle him around a little bit. Let's see. I've never done this before. Come along, little boat boy. Oh, no.
Do we use the
This
other
is
spatula?
not easy at all.
Let's use that other spatula.
The plastic one?
Yeah.
I don't think that scratching the build plate is a huge deal because the roughness of the build plate is directly related to...
Oh, I see.
Oh, that was actually... Okay, once you kind of get it in there...
Not so hard.
Oh, no!
Looks like a Zelda map on the bottom.
Behold treasure.
And a scorpion.
So this is a little drippy. I'm not prepared for this.
How about I put him in the bath around him?
Oh, that works as well. I forgot that you also have hands.
I've got 2 of them.
Plop. Oh, he's sticky.
Is he stickful?
He's very sticky. So
Okay.
let's give him a swish. So one thing that we're going to invest in ultimately is going to be an ultrasonic jewelry cleaner, which will basically be a way for us to submerge our models into the alcohol and then agitate that alcohol with mucho gusto. Yeah, so we've got noxious resin fumes
and
noxious alcohol fumes mixing together into our virgin throats.
It's a good Sunday.
It's It's a delightful Sunday. I'm just tickling the boat in the sea.
Let me see this little
You
porthole.
don't get to see him.
Oh my god.
What is you want to see?
I was just wondering how ported this thing is.
He has a little drain hole.
He does have a little drain hole. I wonder if there is uncured liquid resin much in him.
I don't know if this is rinsed enough, but honestly, it's gone from feeling tacky to feeling smooth, which is the general trajectory of my romantic life.
Just want to try to smooth it out.
This is the part of the video that people really like to watch. Look at you, Benchy.
I think that's where the text, oh god, of his name is back here.
I can see it. Look at that. He's got a little bit of dribble in his hole. That's fine. Yeah,
Wow, this is a real object. That's what is most compelling about this, is that I'm holding an object.
We literally ushered this from the slime.
Fascinating.
We summoned this from the muck. Look at that. It's Benchy.
Fascinating. So Tony, what's our next step? UV cure?
Yes.
I am officially having fun with you, Benji.
We're proper techno wizards. I'm Technomancer Tony. This is Techno Kid Nick.
I see how that went.
Yeah, so what we need, we have our little turntable thingy.
Oh, God, look at that.
Bom, 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 Benchy. Bom, 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 Benchy. I'm pretty impressed.
I am too. Aren't these goggles for this?
Yes, the glasses we've been wearing are not technical. Well, they are. I mean, they're safety glasses, and so they would protect our eyes from any splashes. But these are technically UV protective glasses.
Ultraviolet activated.
Look at that. So we just want to give this a couple of minutes. Some people apparently don't even do this step with certain resins. I don't know about this resin, but I also understand that some people will also put their models under UV light overnight and completely ruin them. So this should be basically hardening the resin, setting it up so that it will be long-term, strong, but too much UV light will make it brittle.
I'm interested in the depth of permeation of the cure, so to speak. Like, if you were to sand and sand and sand and sand and sand into an, you would eventually reach an uncured center.
Yeah, in theory. I mean, I don't imagine this is reaching into those hollow spaces inside of the deck of the boat there. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I get it
Uniformly.
Get it from all angles. So yeah, the final step is going to be removing those little support structures. Those were there during printing to give it more structural integrity when it was literally just a slime developing like a caterpillar in the cocoon, becoming a beautiful butterfly. You know what I just realized? We're being very reckless with this UV light right next to our unprotected resin.
That's a fantastic point. Here.
Well, where's the lid?
Is this off?
Oh, careful with that slosh, Nick. Nick, you're giving the crowd a view. You should have given them a little bit of a twerk. So we still have some
Residue?
Oh, that's weird. So you can see some parts of this are shinier. They look kind of wet. We've got quite a bit down here. Is that showing up in the camera?
It is, totally.
But as far as I can tell, it's not. It's just shiny, and I think that this might be a side effect of the fact that we honestly probably didn't rinse this well enough.
Interesting.
So I think next time we might want to give it a better rinse and maybe take a
rinse
fine
with abrasive. I was going to say
a fine bristle toothbrush to it just to make sure we're really getting that stuff off, because I'm pretty sure that shiny stuff is that excess resin that we did not remove and is basically now cured permanently.
Interesting.
Into our Benchy, so we've ruined it.
Piss! Tony, don't have an emotional reaction to this. You can float someday, Benchy. Maybe not in a river.
So yeah, let's turn off this light. I'm pretty sure that step is done. It's definitely not. Oops.
Let's cure the bottom of his little ass.
Ah, my eyes! Ah, Benchy, your bottom is so outrageous.
Psychedelic video at this point. God, that looks freaking crazy. All right.
So now that we've cured the part that we're removing. So yeah, let's I I'm just gonna go right into this. I'm gonna start peeling these things off. These things are actually so far coming off pretty easily by hand. Nice, satisfying little snap of his bones. Oh, Benchy, your bones are so brittle. Oh, Benchy, whose parents? Who birthed you? You sad little child. Ah. I'm such a man. You can tell that I'm a man by the manly sounds that I make.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, look at that. Hidden message.
CT3D.xyz. That is the website that I downloaded. Ooh, this is still a little bit
Uncured?
a little uncured here. Yes. So it's fascinating how quickly this UV light actually changes the nature of this, because it went from being wet to it's now just a little tacky. Yeah, Nick, I think our insufficient rinse really degraded the quality of what could have been here.
That is a reasonable deduction. The incredible flatness of this part right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the flatness of the LCD and the resolution, basically. It's a single width. It's not diagonal at all.
Yeah.
I love that.
For the most part, like, you can see the lines created by the resolution of the printer here and there, but it's very slight.
Your deduction that it was the rinse cycle, that we should have used something slightly abrasive to make that really work.
We didn't rinse it well enough, but I mean, I never claimed I knew what I was doing.
I've never known what I
Quite
was
the
doing.
opposite.
Okay.
It's the Tony and Nick show. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and also I am kind of surprised. There's a little bit of support on the inside we can yet break off, but
That's why I have these grabbies.
loads of grabulons. Let's see. Jesus. Yeah, some of this, I'm realizing it has the same kind of, the scaffolding supports that are in here give you the same general issues as injection molded prints. They have to be vented, and in this case, this has to be supported.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Let's get the last of these. You know what's beautiful about this?
Huh.
We could sand this a little and just kind of clean it up a bit. But honestly, like, if you handed this to a kid,
Yeah.
you'd be like, hey kid, play with this boat.
It's a boat, though.
Then that kid would be like, okay, Dad. And then the mother of the child would be like, that's not your father.
Now, did you shrink this down to an arbitrary size, or is this to some specific scale?
This is an arbitrary size in the sense that the size that I chose was just a size that would fit in a certain direction on the platform. Give this some tweaking.
You mean to bend on it?
Give it a bend. That's some sturdy stuff.
I cannot bend this hull at all. This is too thick a plastic for me to manipulate.
That is a high quality.
This is
I mean, that's not.
fascinating.
I feel like if you were going to buy this at the store, it would be more than 99 cents.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder how much it did
This
cost
would be
us
like a $2. I believe it probably cost us about 40 cents.
to make this.
Between 20 and 40 cents in resin.
That's very good. That's just fine. All right, Tony, let's talk before we print our surprise superstructure that you've designed for us.
Yes.
Let us talk about some of our ambitions in this resin printing. Yeah, I'm interested in doing miniature art pieces like this. I'm interested in making enclosures for maybe product development.
Yeah.
Definitely interested in that too. Also, I have an interest in upcycling things that are broken. So I would like to, for example, something like this, you could take the measurements of it when you have, if these were truly symmetrical, you could take just this one, model it, and then print its duplicate. I'm interested in that kind of thing, to repair broken machines and broken items that still have some function.
Maybe the machines will choose to spare you.
Maybe that's how I can communicate to the hive.
Perfect. One of the first things I would like to do as a project with these is to print just an enclosure for a little handheld gaming machine.
Yes.
So we would print it out. It would be built with set screw holes.
Are you
Put
thinking
the electronics inside of it.
So you're
Give it
talking
a little
about
bit of a screw.
a custom enclosure for a machine like this?
Or even smaller than that. This is a Raspberry Pi 3. This is Wonderful little machine. I also have a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is also wonderful, but very much so smaller machine.
Interesting. Okay.
That can do much the same things. But yeah, an enclosure for something like this, where it would include this and an LCD screen and some buttons, and we would print the case for it.
Absolutely.
So if you think of like a Game Boy, the plastic case, we could print that.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little bit of design. We will have to probably do some benchmarking to make sure that we're printing true to size. But that's another project for another day.
I think it is time to unveil, even if it's with a cutaway graphic, what our next product. Our first product.
Our first product.
Product. That's very true. Duck, actually.
Duck. Oh my gosh, you're right.
That's what I'm saying.
Nick, the boys and girls at home, they don't know. They don't know what Badonkadunk is. They hear Badonkadunk and they say, what could that possibly mean? That is like someone took two words that mean nothing to me and smashed them together. What could possibly be happening?
What could be happening? I should probably plug the power into this machine.
Well,
again.
I'm happy to tell you guys that you're gonna have to wait to see. Now here's whoa,
Slasher
Nick.
Rooney.
Let's put this lid back on. Is it plugged in?
It is now thugged.
Give it a plug. All right,
think
we're
I've
gonna
done
turn
it.
this bad boy back on. Nick, it's not. Oh. I almost blamed Nick again for what Nick did. Boys and girls, we're gonna print your mom.
The scale that you built this file at, do we have enough material in the gestator?
We have more than enough. This is also going to be a pretty small model.
Okay.
I actually printed this because I wanted to test how brittle these things come out. Here it is.
Badonkadunk.
Badonkadunk. You can't see his secrets yet.
God, this thing's ridiculous.
I love him. So I modeled Badonkadunk in Cinema 4D. It was a very old version of Cinema 4D because I don't have enough money for the new version of Cinema 4D because why should I have to buy every new version of your software, Cinema 4D? Why do you have to charge so much? Why do you hate me, Cinema 4D? Anyway, I modeled this guy with a combination of traditional modeling, extrusion, sculpting, threw him in a NURBS for you nerds out there. He's a beautiful boy. He's got a handsome ass.
You gave him some stylized buttocks.
Here we go, Nick.
Here it starts.
Do we need more of this?
I think that's great, yes.
I don't know why this red color just makes me think of the Jurassic period.
The incredible UV in the sky and just lack of blue light somehow.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
Exactly. Here comes John Hammond.
Dun, 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 dun.
Exactly.
That's a new sound.
That's a squeaky metal sound. That's probably because there's not enough grease on the joints. Oh, it farted a little.
I saw that. So just like last time, it's previewing the little bottom support topography. And from this, the little scaffoldy bits and maybe some of the bottom of the model.
So Badonkadunk is a little
He's a
more
little-
substantial than Benchy.
Yeah, he is. By about an extra third almost.
Yeah.
6.5 hour print projected at this point.
I almost changed him so that he would take up almost all of the available build space. So
Just
we
to
could
see.
basically build him as big as a model shaped like him could be. But I didn't want to use that much resin. It actually wasn't that much. But I still wanted to be a little bit sparing.
I am interested in adding materials to the resin. I'm interested in adding ink. I'm interested in adding maybe little granules of beeswax. I'm kidding. Thermite. Yeah.
Live bees.
Live termite. I'm thinking, but no, I've heard that charcoal or graphite. You can use graphite to make it electrically conductive. I'm not sure.
How do we make it pearlescent?
Just crush up some baby pearls
Baby little pearls.
and the little ones.
Just throw the whole clam in there.
I suppose we put the hat back on.
Now we sit here in silence.
I just heard the first of the little clicky clacks from pulling off the print bed.
You know what would be fun to do? What if we printed something that was had used the whole X and Y dimension, really, but was very thin.
Like a very thin postcard type thing.
Yeah, but like a
One that's
3D postcard.
okay.
Nick has a model that we're going to work on next time.
I have an idea to take a primitive shape from Tinkercad and affix it to something that I also made in another web-based application, SculptGL. For those of you that don't have access to 3D modeling software, there are definitely some resources on the internet that are fun, that are web-based. You don't even have to install it onto your computer. You could do this kind of modeling at a class computer or anything that has basically a web browser.
Yeah, absolutely. Blender, free 3D modeling software, will absolutely take the place of Cinema 4D if you needed to.
Also, yeah, Blender is an incredible resource. I've been using Blender for a little while now. Tony also.
I just don't like Blender.
I like Blender all right.
Ooh.
That was a good one.
I mean, that was literally the machine trying to pull away and being stopped by the tension between the resin and the screen.
I understand why that screen is so tympanically tight now.
Yeah.
It had to be to a certain tension, and that tension has to be monitorable, kind of. And
I can also understand why they gave us 10 replacement screens in
Sure.
case this one breaks.
of course, yeah, the tension of it all
That would be terrifying, by the way, if that screen broke while there was resin in this vat.
sucks.
Yeah, that would be a bad day for everybody.
Let's put him back in the resin. He belongs. Wait, does he float in the
Does he float?
Okay.
You'll float too.
Okay.
Next up on the Tony and Nick
Let's
Show.
end this.
Let's end this. We're gonna come back here and we're gonna get updates on the Badonka Duck. I'm estimating.
It's not down to 5 hours.
I'm gonna say that this is gonna be a successful print just because Benchy was.
Yeah. I think we have our settings dialed in. I don't have any reason to believe that it won't work.
Bravo to Creality for a first successful print on the first try.
Yeah,
No real calibration
absolutely.
step necessary out of the box.
I was sold on this printer specifically because it's supposed to be very easy to use. All right, Nick. Well, let's jump ahead into the future again.